Guess who's reading the fanfic again? My sickness has gotten a little bit worse, and now I'm doing this. We're reading the Hatfic. Uh, Unlike the previous person who requested the previous two fics, or no, yeah, the previous two, unlike them, I'll go ahead and reveal this person's identity because I hate them for doing this to me. Their name is Leo, aka Nurse Strider. They can just fucking die. The Hatfic. Read this story for free. I have to log into Wattpad. This is. Come on, guys. Are we good? Are we good? Oh, fuck you. I know passwords required. I forgot. I didn't mean to click on that tab immediately. Bam. Save. I don't want to. Okay, here we go. The Hatfic by XX Living with Demons XX. Hey Dan, can we get a hamster? I always wanted one, my roommate never thought he'd look after it. Phil, we've talked about this. You wouldn't look after it properly. You could hardly look after yourself, he retorted. It wasn't really in an angry way, but he never even took into account that I was older than him and I lived by myself before him, so getting a hamster wouldn't be that bad. I decided not to argue. Dan was stubborn and wouldn't change his mind. I was going into town later on anyway, so I needed to get changed. I put on my usual skinny jeans and a top on. I finished getting the few pieces of food that Dan and I needed and was headed back to the bus when I walked past the pet shop. I couldn't resist, but walking in and I saw a cage with a small fluffy black and white hamster in the corner. I looked at the price. £10. It was too small and cute to say no to, so I bought it in a cage. I walked out just as my bus arrived. I paid my fare and hopped on. I couldn't stop smiling. My hamster was one of the best things I'd ever done. The best things I'd ever done. Well, that's what I thought. I got home and shouted to Dan, Dan, come see what I bought. He bounced in the hallway at the front door. What's up? I raised the cage with the furry ball curled up in the corner again. The expression on his face changed from a sweet and innocent smile to a sick and twisted one, with an evil glint in his eye. I love it. I was completely wrong about saying no to getting one. He sounded genuine, but there was something about the way he said it that made me feel uneasy. So what's it called? Dan asked. Can we call him Striker, please? I always love that name. I don't really know why. Sure. His reply was cold and harsh. What was wrong with him? I shrugged it off and went into my room. It was only 9 o'clock, but I was tired and fecked up a bit. Wait a minute, give me a second. I pulled my PJ bottoms on and slipped into bed. I woke up during the night, my body freezing cold and I was able to move. I opened my eyes and they were wide with shock, because you just opened them. I looked down and I was naked with ropes tied me to a chair, and in the corner was a sinister looking Dan that was also naked. Morning sleeping beauty. I was wondering how cold the room had to be for you to wake up. His voice sounded so fluffy and innocent, but the words coming out weren't. He was only wearing his fluffy brown hat. He pulled it off to reveal a small black creature sitting in it. Striker. What the fuck was he doing? I don't normally swear. Christian household. But this situation was so confusing and terrifying. What was Dan going to do to me? Dan, what are you doing? Why am I tied up? Why? I stopped when he moved towards me. His expression changed from being happy, like when I woke up, to murderous. Don't be scared, Phil. We're going to have some fun with Striker. He cackled menacingly. Menacingly. And showed off his erect member, making mine start to rise. He put the hat down, Striker sitting in it there, and faced it with his length with the perfect height to aim into it. Dad, what are you doing? Please stop. He stormed over to me and gave me a rough kiss. Everything will be okay, I promise. Dad grabbed the gag from behind me and put it over my mouth. He walked back over to the hat and began to stoke, looking over to me as he did so. After a short time, his seed exploded into the hat. Oh no, this is like the bird come 4chan story. But he didn't stop there. He kept going until the hat was filled to the top. What? That's physically impossible. Unless it was a tiny hat. The white liquid was nearly spilling over the top. My poor hamster was barely able to breathe. It was doing the doggy paddle. Just to survive, all I could do was sit and watch. Dad grabbed the hamster's head and pushed it down into some sperm. After 5 minutes of his sick games, he pulled it back up, dead. Fuck you! He snapped the hamster's head off, the neck bone shattering, and he made me mumble that was supposed to be a scream. Tears flowed down my face, and he squeezed the blood of Striker into the hat. He looked over at me. He was sick and twisted, but also kind of sexy. He picked up the hat and moved toward me with one hand and did the gag. No fucking way! Open wide. He said in a sarcastic tone. I did as I was told. I didn't know what else was hiding behind me. He began to pour the sperm and hamster blood mixed into my mouth, only for me to realize he had put my poor Striker back in there, head and body. The fluid tasted disgusting, partly because it had gone cold, but also because I knew it was my hamster's blood that I was drinking. He pulled back halfway through, not that I'm complaining, and said, "Good little Phil, do I taste nice?" My eyes widened. What do I say? I was about to open my mouth when he slapped me. "Speak, bitch." Wanted to raise my hand to my face. My cold face stung when his hot, sticky hand touched it. "You taste amazing, Dan." I managed to choke out. "Yeah, I do. Time for more fun." I didn't like where this was going. He pulled the black body that was coated in white from the hat. Dan rammed it down my throat, causing my gag reflexes to kick in, and I vomited all down myself. Dan smirked at this and got on his knees. He began to lick all over me, deep-throating. His soft tongue was gliding all over me until it found its way to my throbbing erection. He started at the tip. He started at the tip and worked his way all the way down, deep-throating me. It felt so nice. Most people couldn't do this, but it didn't last long. He looked up to me, his innocent brown eyes making me melt. "I promise you won't run." He sounded so sorry, so I nodded. He got up and untied me. He grabbed me by the He, in capitals, as if he was God, looked up to me, his innocent... He got up and untied me. Oh, this is because it's on a fucking... Yeah, he grabbed me by the shoulders. That's the one. "I'm going to lie on the floor. You're going to pour the rest of the hat on me, then lick it off, okay?" He growled. The sweet, loving Dan was gone then. Square just shot himself in the foot. I quickly nodded and got to the floor. I grabbed the hat and poured it on him, just as he commanded. I began to lick it off him. The mixture wasn't as bad as last time. I think it's because I'm not having it forced down my throat. "Suck me off, Phil." It sounded so weird, but yet again I did as I was told. I wasn't as good as him. I could only fit half of him in my mouth before I felt sick. I was going for what seemed like forever before he pushed my head away. "You've done well, but there's one last thing I need you to do." He pulled up the hamster's head from the left pile of leftovers sick. "When you say stop, I will, but I don't even think you've done good enough." I started to shake and tremble. Dan put his arm around me. "It's okay. It won't be that bad." He hushed me. He was so much nicer again. "Are you ready?" he asked me, a sense of impatience strong in his tone. "Yes, Dad," I stuttered out, and he quickly rubbed me until I frowned. His hand placed on top of my back, pinning me down, the hamster's head in his other hand and nearing my rectum. I know where this is going. He rammed it in with no hesitation, and a burning sensation speed through me. For the rest of it, he used his manhood to push it in. I wanted to stay stopped, but he wouldn't. I know it. Finally, he got too much, and I screamed out, "Stop!" I looked back at Dad and just grinned. "Come one, Phil." Come one, come all. I know you can do better than that. He forcefully went in further, not quite all the way though. "Dad, please, I'm begging you to stop. It's so sore." I pleaded. The burning sensation turned into a stabbing feeling. Dad stroked my hair and gently pulled out of me. The hamster's head was still inside me. It felt horrible knowing that I had a dead animal's head sitting inside my intestines. Dad put his hand deep inside me, and he went deep. I already said deep. I cried out in pain. I felt like exploding. He finally showed me his hand with the head in it. I wish the torture was over, but Dan would have other plans. But this time he didn't, and just wrapped his arm around my hip. "Let's go to bed," Dad said, pulling me up as he said so. I ran ahead. I'm sorry. I leaned in for a kiss, and so did he. We walked down into my room, and when he got it, he pushed me onto the bed. I thought he was going to want sex, but he was so caring and just spooned me until we fell asleep. I woke up to find Dan with the hamster's body in his mouth, chewing violently, both stabbing and crunching under his teeth. He had blood dripping from his chin. He crawled over to me and licked it off for him. He grinned as though I read his thoughts and finished eating. And every month we buy a hamster. To be continued. Last update, March 20. This thing is a year old! What? Happy 1 year anniversary of the last update to this fic. Good fucking riddance. Let's read the comments. I came back to read this, and it's funny how I've seen worse. What the actual fuck did I just read? My poor virgin eyes. Kill me. Are you mentally stable? Find literature here on Wattpad. Oh yes, please. That's where I stop. Fuck you, Nurse Strider. Perish.